Motor City, we've been around for 80 years. That's like 560 in dog years. Basically, we're the top dogs of Colorado. And thanks to our deals, selection, and service, we've earned some pretty loyal customers. And our GM, Mark, he's the most loyal guy I know. Even after I chewed up his shoe, it was delicious.
Great trucks, amazing deals, and belly rubs for dogs. Come see why Colorado drives Bill Long Ford in Motor City. Hey guys, where's my shoe? Oh.
Well, good morning, crew. It is Tuesday. It is July 14th, just whipping through the month here. I am Matt Meister. You are on Peaks to Plains Weather, and this is Mornings with Meister. We do it every Monday through Friday morning from 6:30 until we get all of the information in. That is one of the things that I love about what we are doing here is we have time to talk about things that matter. And I am going to begin again this morning with the Aspen Acres fire because there is some good news on this fire front here. And looks like my map got messed up here, so let me fix this real quick. Work continues to be done on this fire, and we are in the middle of a transition from the incident management team from Alaska that has been overseeing the fire for quite a long time now, and the incident management team from the Northern Rockies that is coming in. Good news here is that the fire has not increased in size much, only 150 acres. We're at 36% containment, so that is really, really good news. Our weather pattern continues to be out of the east here, and so as we hit the afternoon, the surface wind out of the east, even in the mid-levels off the deck, will push the smoke westward. It will tend to make the western edge of the fire kind of the more active edge of the fire as that eastern end kind of, blows back across itself where there are some hot spots. They're mentioning that there is still some heat in the ground kind of on the northeast side of the fire near some junipers that they're doing some work on. But all good news from the fire, including the return of Beulah residents yesterday to check things out. Unfortunately, a number of them coming back to lost homes, even for places where the homes are standing, lots of smoke damage and some other cleanup to do. But we're making progress up to 36% containment, and that is good news. And over the next 24 hours, we're going to keep the storms mainly to the west of the fire. So all of that is favorable to continue making progress on this fire. On the western end is where the most difficult terrain is. Fire wants to blow up the slopes, and so there's still definitely challenges for the firefighting crews, and we need to keep all of them, the support staff, in our thoughts and prayers here as that work continues on what remains Colorado's 7th largest wildfire all time and one of the most destructive, with more than 850 structures lost. So that's the update on that. How are you doing this morning? We've got Pops says, hey, good morning, world. Good morning, Pops. Ann says good morning as well. And, it was a pretty decent day to be outside yesterday. Did you feel the humidity? I certainly did. As we transition to what is happening outside this morning, we look at dew points over the eastern plains, and we are still in the 50s, which is usually something that gets us alert for thunderstorms. But we don't have enough instability in the mid-levels of the atmosphere east of the mountains to be concerned about that. I don't have any storms in the forecast. From a humidity perspective, early this morning, recovery's been pretty poor up against the fire. You see Pueblo, we're at 58% this morning. Colorado Springs doing a little bit better. Lyman doing a little bit better. Temperatures, we are bottoming out this morning in the 50s and 60s for many spots. Compared to this time yesterday, a lot of us are running within a couple degrees, so there's not a huge temperature change across the area. We look at Woodland Park this morning where the sun is up. We're getting some shadows there. It is 57. Just a beautiful start to the day in the city above the clouds. Colorado City, make an improvement on life in the area. There's still fire trucks cruising around and all of that, but things are getting a little bit better, certainly, than they were a couple weeks ago. People moving along on the interstate with no problem. Humidity at 61% there. In Pueblo West this morning, it is 64 as we look toward McCulloch Boulevard, and a light breeze out of the northwest right now at 3 miles per hour. South end of Colorado Springs, we are sitting at 54. So as we look at our short-term forecast here over the next couple of days, we don't see a ton of change in the large-scale pattern. Now, yesterday, the hottest temps were on the western slope, up across the northern part of the state. You see some purple colors kind of showing up there, or at least some blue showing up with the red making purple, right? Red and blue make purple. But you can see we hit 90 in the Springs, 97 in Pueblo. Salida, we managed 92. We're not too much different out there today. I think a lot of us will be pretty close, maybe a degree or two lower, if anything, because the weather pattern's not changing. You can see early this morning that the clouds are kind of moving off to the southwest. So the thunderstorms that we had yesterday, we got a good one on the backside of Pikes Peak, had a couple across southeastern Park County, northern Fremont County. We got in on some of those. Everything that was developing west of the cities was moving off to the south and southwest. And that's because our large-scale pattern here is being dominated by this high pressure that's up over the northern plains. And so it's bringing drier air in the mid-levels in from the east, and it's going to keep the storms that form over the mountains moving away from us. And the monsoon plume is off to the west. And so we see that large-scale pattern reflected in the surface flow, and it actually enhances the mountain plain circulation that we get every day. So in the afternoon, we'll have sustained wind speed here that's up between 15 and 20 miles per hour for a lot of us. And so some of us will get some gusts up around 25 miles per hour. You'll notice that today. But moving around the humid air over the plains helps to make it feel a little bit better to our bodies. Over the fire, we'll have an east or southeast wind, as we talked about already, and that will continue as we move into the early part of the evening before the wind relaxes a little bit overnight. So you see storms developing a little bit farther to the west than yesterday. I think the chance of getting something on Pikes Peak, on maybe the Sangre de Cristos after the initial cloud buildups is pretty low. And we'll kind of watch the upper Arkansas River Valley, the San Luis Valley, and areas westward. Excuse me, crew. Wow. As the areas most likely to catch some storms today, because we do have residual moisture in some of the mountain valley areas. And so even though the monsoon plume is off to the west, some moderate to maybe heavy rain is possible with some of the storms today. And then after the sun goes down, we lose the heating of the day. We do start to get a little bit of a transition over the mountains Wednesday into Thursday and Friday, in that the moisture gradually increases. So the coverage of storms gets a little bit better. There might be a little bit better chance of catching a storm in Teller County tomorrow, maybe along the Sangre de Cristos. And as we move through the rest of the week, there certainly is a continued trend of the storms that are out there to produce moderate and heavy rain for Thursday and Friday, especially along and west of the Continental Divide. But we do start to creep towards some changes that hopefully benefit everybody else as we hit the early part of next week. Like I said, high temperatures really not changing all that much on a day-to-day basis here as we move through the balance of our week. So that's kind of where we sit. We will take a short break. We'll talk about those beneficial changes that hopefully move into the area as we hit next week. After this short break, stick around. I've got your extended forecast coming up here on Mornings with Meister on Peaks to Plains Weather.
Another attorney commercial with big promises? Millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
This is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified TAMCO installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for evacuation orders, law enforcement activity, missing persons, and more. Choose up to 5 locations that matter to you, like home, work, and school, so you know what's going on and what to do next. It's free, easy to set up, and designed to keep you in control. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Dewey, here with another water-wise tip.
During summer, do you know why we water up to 3 days a week?
To make the best use of me.
Exactly. It builds deeper, stronger roots and makes your lawn more resilient.
Also, use the cycle and soak method. Try shorter cycles with breaks in between to reduce runoff.
And in spring or fall, you can water 1 or 2 days per week. Be water-wise and your lawn will thrive.
Now that's water-wise. Learn more at csu.org/waterwise.
Our extended forecast here starts to change as the area of high pressure that is up over the northern plains and the clockwise flow around that with the monsoon plume over the western U.S. starts to change a little bit. So as we move through the rest of the week here and we head into the weekend, things change up in a little bit of a noticeable way. How that will happen is that this high starts to reestablish itself here over the kind of somewhere in the Intermountain West, Colorado, Utah. We're still working on the specifics of that. But as this transition happens, we end up gradually moistening things over the mountains. And you can see that we do have this nice little tap of monsoon moisture here. So storms that do go, especially in the western half of the state here through the end of the week, will have some decent moisture to work with. And then you can see the high starting to get these black lines here showing the high reestablishing itself. East of the mountains, we're still going to be dry. Even if a storm tries to form on Pikes Peak here the next few days, it'll kind of be pushed westward. That'll start to change a little bit as we head into the back part of the weekend. And so the trend here underneath this high, we start recirculating this moisture, is that we get a better chance of storms over more of our mountain areas off to the east. And eventually, I think we're going to bring some of these chances into the front range here. But it's looking like the weekend, given where the high's probably going to be, Even Sunday, where I did have a chance of storms in the forecast, I've taken that out now for Colorado Springs, for Pueblo, and I think we're going to have to wait until Monday as we recirculate the northern end of this monsoon plume under the area of high pressure and eventually get a better chance of storms. And so as we head into early next week, you can see that we start to push some of the showers as we head into the afternoons to the east of the mountains here. And so when we get into Monday and Tuesday, things start to change up a little bit. So our extended forecast is going to look like this, my friends. As we get to the weekend, we don't really see the temperatures changing all that much. So for Colorado Springs, we are sitting here with 80s the next few days to around 90. I think 90s over the weekend before some cooler weather moves in with the chance of storms. And so again, maybe something rogue on Sunday. I mean, I guess I can't rule it out. There are still some issues to work on in terms of where the moisture is going to be thickest. I'll show you that here in a second. But it's kind of the same trend for Woodland Park. I even think our weekend is going to be mainly dry here. An isolated storm possible on the backside of Pikes Peak Wednesday into Thursday and Friday. Can't guarantee it, but it's an outside possibility. And then certainly a better coverage of storms next week, and those storms more likely to produce some rain. Hopefully we start to talk storm chances into the plains as well. Even if we don't get those, I do think we'll see some cooler weather with an increase in cloud cover around, and at least some cool air from some thunderstorms that'll be floating around in the afternoon. So here is one computer model's depiction of heavy rain potential through Tuesday of next week. And the heavy rain over the mountains just to the west of I-25 are certainly in the Monday and Tuesday time frame versus anything prior to that. So you can see on the Pikes Peak, we're picking up some storms. Around the Aspen Acres fire, we're picking up some storms. Off to the west of Trinidad here. And some of this moisture, if you compare this to my color table, could be more than an inch there. So that is some good news. Now, there's some things to work on, like where the actual high is, the quality of the moisture, because another computer model through that same time frame does have an increase in moisture. It's just a little bit farther to the north. The signal is not as strong over our southwestern mountains. So there's work to do, but I'm taking us a week out, a week more out. So it's not a huge surprise. And those details, our ability to figure them out with time, decrease. So that is it for me here, 6:46 on this Tuesday morning. Peaks to Plains Weather is a partner with the City of Colorado Springs Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Department for Parks and Recreation Month here in July. We are excited about that. Heading down to City Hall this morning for an event at 9 o'clock. Super excited about that. Crew, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for checking in with Peaks to Plains Weather. Remember, anytime you need weather information, you know where it is. Download the Peaks to Plains Weather app. I am starting my morning with American Classic Coffee. It is so delicious. I want to invite you to try out their coffee. They are one of our partners here at Peaks to Plains Weather, and I just love their stuff. It is so good. American Classic Coffee, Dad's Coffee, all of their coffees, whether it's a medium roast, a dark roast, a lighter roast. I use it for espresso oftentimes to make Americanos. Love it as drip as well. If you get a subscription, they'll give you 15% off your order. Spencer will often hand deliver it to your house here across Colorado Springs. And so he is a great guy on top of everything. And I invite you to try his coffee if you hasn't. The way I describe it, it's smooth and easy drinking. That's what I love about it. It is so good. All right, crew, have a great day. This has been Mornings with Meister on Peaks to Plains Weather.
Another attorney commercial with big promises? Millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&D Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy, Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today.